Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is about 5 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 15th. So, looking at the news flow, right? So, we had CPI come in this morning, basically come in line with what expectations were, and still slightly hotter than the last read, but all within the margin of error. No doubt about that. So, as we look at really what's ahead. We have retail sales tomorrow morning, and that's besides the talking heads, right? We're going to have, you know, a slew of talking heads. They like to, get on it or soapboxes or whatever. So if we're going to have any narrative changes that they want to do, which I would seriously doubt. Remember, we are 2 weeks out exactly right now from the FOMC meeting, right? It's going to be February 29th. But before that, or I'm sorry, January 29th, excuse me. So, and before, January 29th, we're going to have next Monday, right, the administration change over on the 20th, right? Keep in mind that we have a holiday next Monday as well, right? Markets will be closed, futures will be open until around 1 p.m. Eastern time. Check your local listings. And then for today, right, we also have earnings. We have a slew of banks that come out this morning. All that should already be in there, so no worries. What people will probably be paying attention to is, uh, credit risk that they see on their earnings call. I'm sure that'll be the questions at hand. That would be what people would be concerned with potentially. And then we're going to have OPEX on Monday, as we mentioned, or OPEX on Friday. Markets close Monday, and then the VIX expiration, the monthly roll will be next Wednesday. So that should be, also, um, you know, keeping a tamp down on, volatility into that close for this week, right? It'll happen next week. So as we, look at where we are, right? Yesterday, for the Qs, right, we were between 505 and 510. We have shot up to basically just under 515 in the overnight session. This morning after the print, we're currently trading 513.72. We'll get more into that in a second on positioning. And then, basically we closed uh, just under 58.50 yesterday. We're up basically around 87 points. So we would be, right around 59.35 right now. If the market were to open, that's where the cash would be. And SPY was trading between 580 and 585 yesterday, and the SPY is currently trading 590.75. So it jumped up another $5 over the high of yesterday as well. So looking at what that did to positioning, or sorry, need some more coffee or something this morning. Looking at what that did to structure going into today, we really cleaned up structure yesterday from the area that we've been in for the last several days. And then we had some salmon run trades for the Russell and the Dow after the close yesterday, so we can use those bogeys. Here is a aforementioned positioning. So again, we closed yesterday at 58.42. Then futures shot up to 58.50 around for the settlement is where they would have been equated to. And then, we're up 87 points. So looking at positioning, and I'm looking at the week because you can see even for today down here on Wednesday, excuse me, Wednesday, you have 59.50. That should be a potential support resistance line. So that's going to be around 35 handles under where we're currently trading. So that'll be around 59.35. I'll print that out when I update the grid, overnight grid this morning. I'll update where those lines are and then my guesstimates for them. And then, about 15 points above where we are currently trading, which would be, let's call it 87, 59, 87, which would be right around where this 59.50 would be. So those are your markers that we could bounce between those two potentially, and then see if we can push over 59.50. You have to assume 25 points, 75, even though there's nothing really there for today. And then your wall should be 6,000. I don't think that we can print that today, but if you do, it would probably be a massive short. Uh, Looking at the SPY, again, the SPY is trading 590 uh, to 591 right now. So as we, look at it, so 591. So you got a little bit of a shelf, just 10 points under you at 590, and then you don't have, you know, and that's looking at what's left of the week. So you can see all the $50 strikes, the $5 strikes, those are where we're at, which would be 50 points in the ES. So 590, 593. So right around 593, which would be about 20 points where we're above where we're currently trading on the ES. So that would put it uh, right at 59.92 basically, which is should line up around where this 593 is. Again, it'll be updated on that grid when I send it out, the A grid on the lower half, where those SPY lines are for today. I guess meant for them, but that should be around the top end of uh, for today's range, but positioning will be updating and changing throughout the day. We'll just have to keep our eye on the VIX. And looking at the Qs real quick, again, we're at 514 right now, so we almost got up to that 515. The overnight high was 514.88 for the Qs, and then so just under that. So, basically you're looking at, down to 510 or up to 520 potentially. That's, down 200 handles basically, or up 200 handles from 514. So it'd be basically up 240 or down 160 is what you're looking at on the Qs. And then the real wall for today, and this would be, I don't think that you could possibly hit this, it would be, a 600 point drop from where we currently are. The VIX would have to be rising, but this should be your floor for the day, right around this 500 marker, which we traded yesterday. So, it's definitely not like it's impossible. We were just there yesterday. Uh, Looking at where we are, and again, I've been noting this downtrend line, and now is over the next few sessions is where we can see how serious the bulls and the bears are about where we're going to go over the next quarter, I would say. 59.50 is the point of control from, one of the ones left from last week. 58.82 half is the one from yesterday. Uh, that should not trade, but you have to realize that it could. It did trade in the overnight. Again, things would really have to go to hell from where we are right now, but that would be the classic pop and flop. But to do that, you have to get under the 59.50 on the futures, and that's about 23 points under where we are right now. So that's my first bogey, is that line, to see if we hold above there or below it after the initial balance prints. So looking at this downtrend line, the top of the downtrend line is, if we were to, go up here today, which I don't think is on the table, you're looking at 21,711 is where this resistance would come in. Uh, Looking at it for the ES, which is totally potential for today to hit, that would be 6,025 basically, 6,024, 25, right in there is where the top of this downtrend line is. Keep in mind, and this is what I was pointing out in equity profiles last night, the top of balance is 21,900 basically. That was our last swing high. And then this resistance again is at 21,700. So about 200 points right underneath the top of balance. So this will be a tell on this test, once we test this top of the channel again, to see if it holds or not, I'd be more than happy to delete this, but until it breaks, you have to pay attention to it. It's just been touched too many times not to pay attention to. And the top of the balance for ES is 60.68, and again, the top of the channel is 60.23. So you've got, you know, 45 points difference between the top of the channel and where the top of balance should be. Uh, so I think it'll be interesting to watch. Overnight action, 100 points even. And if you look at where we are, right, we're at R3 already. And then we have some bogeys, and you can see we're trying to hold this uh, 59.69 quarter, which was a previous split. This 59.69 quarter, you can see as we pushed up, we're kind of shelving there. What I would like to see is a retest back under there and potentially testing around the midpoint of all this consolidation, which would be, you know, that 59.46. That would break that 59.50 point of control, and then you would have to get back above it to, you know, for bullish action. Otherwise, you know, there's really nothing holding you from here until you go back to 59.07 quarter, really. So looking at all the indexes, these are your bogey lines above on serious strength ahead. All these boxes at the top end, you know, that's at R4, A for the NASDAQ, the ES. It's a it should be out of range for the Dow, but that doesn't mean it can't be touched. But this is, you know, these are your resistance zones. This is where traders are stuck in longs above these levels. This is where there should be sellers at. It's just, I don't know if we can print up there today. Uh, we'll just have to watch. And then for the Russell, uh, you know, if it can check back down close to 2277 half and then go up and test this uh, 2313 half, that would be ideal for it. Otherwise, holding below that for the Russell, you're just probably, you know, gonna pull back into some type of sequence, and then you're just going to chop around in this box most of the day. So again, I'm going to watch this 59.69 quarter for a little bit of a break once we, you know, once we start going this morning, and then see what happens after that. Again, a ton of FOMC speakers today, almost too many to keep track of, all over the, you know, places, just yabbering away with audience questions expected. So, you know, all those headlines can just immediately produce, you know, 80 to 100 point shot in either direction for the futures. Keep in mind that that is on the table. So manage your risk appropriately and don't get complacent. I hope this helps. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We're going to have retail sales, some more earnings reports, and then really we can set a tone into, remember, OPEX is Friday, and we have the holiday Monday with the administration change. So volatility can be sold the rest of this week, which should make pullbacks buyable, in my opinion. All the scary news is out. You know, unless retail sales is really a big disappointment or a big blowout tomorrow. You know, I don't see that really upsetting the apple cart. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and we'll see what Jack has on deck, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.